What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Just want to say to anyone who gets on here, thank you for checking me out. Thank you for coming on this brother talk and interacting. Um, we just want to say thanks to everything. Um, I hope that you enjoy this show. It wouldn't be possible without you. And we just gonna kick right into things. We know it's Memorial Day. A lot of people got a lot of things going on, and it's a lot of basketball being played right now. A lot of sports being played. So first of all, we just gonna kick it off just by saying Happy Memorial Day. Just want to give a shout out. Not even a shout out. Just want to thank those who have served and kept our country safe. From terrorists, foreign and domestic. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. So this day is solely for you. We should all, be appreciative of our military and, those, especially those who lost their lives, trying to protect our freedoms. So, this day, a lot of people get together and they have cookouts and all that good stuff. And it's a day for people just to have a good time. But if you really look at the true meaning of it, you'll understand that it's solely for these people. So, thank you to all our military and, anyone who has risked their lives to protect our freedoms. All right, we're going to start out today. We're going to talk about Naomi Osaka. She was drawn from the French Open. She a couple of days ago, she wouldn't talk to the media. And, we later found out why she wouldn't talk to the media. So she was fined $15,000 for, not speaking to the media by the tennis association. And she stated that, the reason why she wasn't talking is because she wanted to focus on her mental health. And a lot of people, and I've heard some people say it, some people said it in other instances and stuff like that. They were talking about, people having, your mom said, thanks for y'all services. Appreciate it, Aunt Janet. A lot of people will say, well, these people make all this money. They got all this money. They shouldn't have any problem. They shouldn't worry about anything. They shouldn't stress over things. But what people fail to realize is that they're human beings also. Just because you got money, that doesn't keep you from having mental problems or, health issues or anything like that. If that was the case, then, it wouldn't be no such thing. We'd all be trying to, play sports and be rich and all that good stuff. But, she says she's been dealing with depression since 2018, whenever she defeated Serena Williams in the controversial win over Serena Williams in 2018. If I'm not mistaken, it was in the U.S. Open, if I'm not mistaken. But I applaud her for withdrawing because mental health is a serious issue. And if you do have issues with, depression, anxiety, anything like that, I mean, you have to take care of your mental health. And with her, I mean, she's been an advocate for, equality and all of that good stuff. So, for her to be fighting her own demons and her own problems, for her to, be dealing with that and still, out trying to use her voice and her platform to bring about attention for change was really big. And I saw it as being, great in her and watching her do that and then find out she's been dealing with that type of stuff. And, a lot of people still say, well, she shouldn't have those problems and this, that, and third. She is a human being. And just because you play sports, you're rich and famous and, it doesn't keep you from having those problems. All of them have those problems. Money does not change, your mental status. It might make you, be able to do things that others can't do or that others want to do and can't do. But other than that, it doesn't, keep you from doing it. Like, if you're going through some mental issues, take care of yourself. And I applaud her for that. I wish the tennis association would, eventually rescind that fine simply because of what she's going through, because that's nothing to play with. I mean, we've seen people with mental issues kill themselves. We've seen people, they use mental issues whenever somebody goes through and shoots up a school or, kills someone and all that good stuff. But for her to come out and say that, basically she has been dealing with depression and, for almost 3 years now. And it's a little over 3 years that she's been dealing with it. It says a lot because she still goes out and she plays tennis and she's great at what she do. And, she's been number one in the world. And that's a hard thing to do and to be dealing with your own personal demons. So she withdrew from that, which, I mean, I think that's going to be, a hard hit by the French Open, simply because, I mean, she is one of the top stars, and that's what people want to see. They want to see her play. They want to see her, go out there and be the best at what she do. But I applaud her for, taking that stance and backing out and saying, she had to take care of her mental issue. And that's the reason why she wouldn't speak to the reporters. And a lot of people say, some reporters, they just asking simple questions. Yeah, but some of them, take it a little too far. You have good journalism and you have some bad, and some of them that, they ask repeated questions. They bring up stuff that really shouldn't have to bring up. And, and I understand her saying that she just wanted to take care of herself. And, and then you said she lived a sheltered life for her family. Yeah, I mean, she could have, but at the same time, I still think that, her wanting to deal with her mental health is past that, in my personal opinion. Yes, TC, and that's the other thing. Like, she's very, very young, and young, and she, uses her voice to do a lot of different things. And I think this right here would open the doors for a lot of others to start taking care of their mental health. Simply because just because you're rich and famous, like I said, doesn't mean that you are immune to, not having issues like, the regular average common man, like, and that's what people don't see, from that side and everything. All they see is, oh, they live in a lavish life, but they don't see everything that goes on in that day and everything that goes on in their life. They only see the good side of everything. They don't see the bad side. So, I applaud her for doing that. And, I wish her well. I hope that she, works out whatever is going on that she can work out. Because, mental health is real. And, some people, they use it for it as an excuse for everything. But like people who truly has, some mental health issues, whether it's big or small, I think they should handle it. All right, so we're gonna move along. We're gonna talk about these fans. And the NBA had some, games over the weekend, and I feel like the fans are out of hand. And we've already had a brawl in, I can't remember what year it was, and those guys was in the stands fighting people and all that good stuff. And everybody looked at the players like, yeah, y'all should be better than that. But when you're getting stuff thrown at you, people making racial slurs, about you, about your family and all that good stuff. Like, I go to games, I heckle players, but I never make it personal. I'll just talk about a shot that they missed or, something like that. It's never anything personal whenever it comes to that. And so with that being said, like it's a lot of things that have happened, and here are the ones that happened. So we had an issue with Russ having popcorn thrown at him. He had popcorn thrown at him, and popcorn is nothing major. Trae Young was spit at. Water bottle thrown at Kyrie and John Morant family, and you got got racial slurs at them. And like, it's ridiculous how some of these people um, take stuff too far. Like, for you to throw popcorn on Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook goes up in the stands and put hands on it, because honestly, if you throw something at somebody, that's assault. I mean, what's the difference between you throwing something at somebody and you hitting somebody? I mean, it's all the same. You're doing physical harm to someone. Now, if Russ went up in the stands and decided that he was gonna, put his hands on this person, then we'd be looking. I ain't gonna say we, but when I say we, I'm talking about in general. People will be talking about, oh, Russ was wrong for that, and he got to be better than that. He got to be the bigger person. Bullshit. I mean, that's just bull. Like, Kyrie Irving gets a bottle thrown at him last night. People talking about, well, he went and disrespected their logo. So stepping on the logo is disrespecting it. But you play a whole damn basketball game stepping on that same logo. You jump ball on that logo. So I don't care if he walked over and stepped on it. They step on it the whole damn game. So if that causes you to want to throw bottles at people, and like what it's going to really take is going to take, these players to stop saying, oh, well, I just want the person to apologize and this, that, and the third. They need to start pursuing, legal action. So some of these people will see, that assault is not real. Because you throw something at me, that's hitting me. That's an assault. Like you threw something at me and you hit me. So, found out who the guy was, and I can't even remember his name because I won't even give him, the gratitude of, pronouncing his name or saying his name because I don't even want to give him that much credit because I think it's a bunch of BS for him to throw a bottle at Kyrie Irving like he did last night. John Morant family in Utah getting racial slurs at them. And this is not the first time this happened in Utah. I mean, it happened with Russell Westbrook one time before, and then, for you to use racial slurs, like, first of all, you don't know those people like that. Second of all, it's time for these whites to stop thinking that we're inferior to them. We got to stop that stuff. Like, it's time out for all this stuff. It's 2021. And like a lot of people, it's a lot of whites that turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to thinking that racism doesn't exist anymore. And it does. Racism exists. And it's big. And it's not that, we're in the social media. And I'm not saying, everybody's racist. Like every white person is not racist. It's some great, whites out here, but it's those bad ones. Just like it's some great blacks out here. It's not all bad blacks and all bad Mexicans and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, we gotta realize that racism is real and it ain't going nowhere. But it's time for us to start facing those issues and talking about them. So, and quit trying to hide behind, false truths. Then we got Trae Young, who was spit at. That's the ultimate disrespect. You spit on a man, like this person spit, and he spit over 50 Cent and whoever the lady was beside him at the Knicks game. How disrespectful is that for you to feel like, you can take and spit on somebody? Who are you? And then they, oh, well, we're going to ban them indefinitely or ban them for life. What is that going to really solve? That's just very disrespectful, what these fans feel like they can do. And I feel like the NBA has to do something to start protecting these guys. Yes, you have security and stuff there and all that good stuff, but you got to do more. Like I said, you got to start somehow or another, press some charges, hold these people accountable. Just because you ban them from a game, what good is that really doing? Because most of the time, people who doing ignorant stuff like that, they just going to one game. That's all they're doing. They go to one game and that's it. You might see them another 2 or 3 years later. It's not like they're regular patrons at the game. So, we got to do more than that. We got to do something to protect these players. Now, if the players want to take a little further, take a little further. Like I said, go and press some charges. You hit me with a bottle. That's assault. So we're going to take legal action. And here we go. Because if roles were reversed, these guys people be suing the hell out of these players trying to get millions. Just trying to get millions. And a lot of times the players gonna settle because they don't want to go through these court and legal, maneuvering and all that good stuff. So yes, they're gonna be glad to pay, some money for you to shut the hell up and leave it alone. It's that simple. But we got to do something about these fans. Like, Charles Barkley them said that, it's fans been like this for a long time. And it wasn't right then, it's not right now. Like I said, I go to games, I heckle players, I heckle referees, but I never make it personal. It's all in fun. I'm not going to call anybody out of their name. I'm not going to disrespect their families and all that good stuff, because the way I look at it is like, I have family that play sports. I play sports, and I wouldn't want my family to have to deal with anything, like that. But if we're just having fun, I done been to games where, I done sat beside opposing, fans, and we just had a great time together, heckling each other's, opposing teams or whatever. And after that, we finish with the game. Hey, have a good night. Hey, hope to see you at another game. It's okay to, for fans to have a good time. You pay money to have a good time in the game, to watch stars play. But it can't be that much hate towards these players, especially Kyrie Irving. Like, Boston, y'all hate Kyrie that much where, you already booed him every time he touched the ball, which, that's natural. Like, that's what's going to happen. We already knew that was going to happen. But you hate the man so much you want to throw things at him. Like, it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. And then the guy, he got arrested last night. He was charged with assault and battery with a weapon to do harm. And then when they handcuffed him, he laughed going up the stairs at the arena. And that's why I feel like they have to do something, because they already know they're just going to get a slap on the wrist. Like, it's not going to be anything major, So it's time for us to start protecting these players. It's time for, these sports leagues to protect players and start, handing out fines. If not soon, hand them out some fines. Then, you can always put it on them tickets. You come to the game, you do something like that, because you can put it in fine print. They read it, it, and say you do something like this, you can have a fine subject to this much money. And I guarantee people wouldn't do stupid stuff. I know I wouldn't, because you tell me that I go there and throw something at a player, batteries, water bottle tops, or water bottles, period, that I'm gonna get fined $5,000. No, I can do something else for that $5,000. But it ain't that serious to me, because I don't hate nobody, to the fact that, I'm gonna risk something to get at them. And I feel like that gentleman, that showed how immature, how weak all of these fans is doing. They're immature, weak, not in tune with times, and just very, 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 I just can't say it enough, just very immature. It doesn't show, and the most important thing, it shows how much class you have. They had no class at all to do that, especially the guy who tried to spit on Trae Young. Like, that's just very classless. The people who talk the John Morant family using racial slurs, that's classless. And a lot of, Kevin Durant made a comment saying that, you're doing stuff like this that just shows how you were raised. And, that's somewhat true. But at the same time, I kind of disagree, because some of these people may have been raised correctly. Now, I think I was raised right. But if I've done something as an adult, that doesn't say how my parents raised me. That just shows how, as an adult, how I decide to carry myself. Now, granted, some of them are raised the wrong way. They're raised to hate. They're raised to be mean, and if that's how they're raised, that's how they're raised. I can't get on anybody about how they raise their kids. But at the same time, I can look at you a certain way and be like, That's not the way I would do things because it's just not right, but some people choose to be that way. But, like I said, it's just a classless part on all of these fans that's doing, they taking it way too far. You go to a sporting event to be entertained, have a good time, and call it a day. Like, you should be happy to be able to go see a playoff game. It's not too many people. Like, they could have gave that ticket to somebody. Somebody else could have got that ticket and went to a game and saw Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Jason Tatum. Seeing those guys and it was just bad. It's just bad, and like it's classless. And I hope something happens. They got to make some type of change to make sure these players are protected, make sure their families are protected. But I do know that, I was a part of the NBA family, kind of still is. I'm still part of the NBA family. But, here in Oklahoma City, whenever my brother played for the Thunder, now that's one thing that they did make a point of. We're going to make sure that not only our players safe, that our families were safe. Like, they had security to escort us to our seats. And if something went wrong, all we had to do was, shoot a text. They knew where we were sitting at. They would come. Even on the road, it was kind of the same way. They knew where we were sitting at, so we didn't have any issues with anything. So, I wish, organizations, the NBA, they will come together so they can get, a game plan to get these fans under control. And, it's just sad. It's sad that to this day that we still have these black athletes having to deal with, unnecessary BS. Like I said, I've seen Russ have to deal with it in Utah, John Morant family. I know and I wasn't there to see it, but it's happened before. And like where there's smoke, there's fire, plain and simple. And so we're going to move on. We're going to get into the playoffs. The Heat get swept. Now the Heat made it to the NBA Finals last year in the bubble, and they end up losing to the Lakers. And I said it. I said it, and I said it, and I said it. Like, the bubble saved the Heat because they really weren't a team that I think were NBA Finals material. Not traveling kind of helped them out. They got on a little run, and, I think ultimately that situation helped them out. They get swept by the Milwaukee Bucks, and honestly, it wasn't even close. Like I was wrong on this, and I'm telling you this, I was wrong. Like when I initially said it, I thought the Heat was going to upset the Bucks. And quote me on, I said it, and I was wrong. And then even after game one, I said they were in trouble. The Bucks were, because it was an overtime win, 107 to 109. Chris Middleton hit a shot to win the game. I said, I don't think that the Bucks will be able to handle the Heat. I said Eric Spoelstra going to come and make some changes. And I felt like he was just a better coach. And even with not having as much talent as the Bucks, I thought the Heat would prevail and win in 6 or maybe 7. But game one, like I said, 103-109 overtime. After that, it wasn't even a series. It wasn't even a series. Exactly, TC. It's not the bubble. It's not the bubble. It wasn't even a series. Game 2, they lose 132 to 98. Game 3, 113 to 84. Game 4, 120 to 103. And I'm saying to myself, like, these guys didn't even show up. They didn't even show up. Like, that's not, I mean, and what did they lose? What did they lose? But that takes me to my next, topic. And, and I said it, and I've been saying it for years. I said it when the guy was in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy, no buckets. Like, people don't want to they don't want to realize this, and they don't want to talk about it. But like they say that Jimmy Butler is a superstar. They say he's a superstar, and I have been saying this for a long time that he is not a star. He is not a star. Like, I mean, not a superstar. Now, does he play hard? Yes. Is he a rough rider? Yes. Will he get in people's face? Yes. Is he hard nosed? Yes. Would I want him on my team? Yes. But I don't want him as the face of my franchise, simply because he is not the guy that you can just put out there and get buckets at any given night, at any given time. Like, TC, that's, we've talked about this before. Great player, definitely can't carry a team. And if he's going to be your number one guy, then you're going to struggle. You're not going to win. Like, you need Jimmy Butler to be a Robin, or maybe even a third option, because I want you to listen to his stat line. He had 17 points, 10 points, 19, and 12. This guy averaged 14.5 points per game. And this is your star. And like for years, it's been Jimmy Buckets this, Jimmy Buckets that. Trust me, I like the fact of what he did, going 4 years of school, coming there, his grind, how he got to the NBA and what he's done to stay in the NBA. But he's not the number one guy. And I think that's where Pat Riley messed up. Is focusing on him to be a priority versus getting somebody else. Yes, he's a Draymond, but the public made him a KD, and he's nowhere close to a Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Steph Curry or Russell Westbrook or James Harden. Any of those guys. He's nowhere close to any of those guys, to Jason Tatum. And like I said, hard nose, if you want somebody to be, the backbone of the team, yes, Jimmy Butler. But if you want him to be the face and the guy that's going to take you to the promised land, it's a no. And I've been saying this for years. Like, I never thought that he was that type of guy. I felt like him going to Miami, he felt like he could be the guy. He went there, boom, boom, boom. If he would have stayed in Philly, then you got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons as your one and your two, and him the third wheel, and his leadership, they could possibly be championship contenders. Simple as that. But Jimmy Butler is not the guy that you need to be the man for your team. Now, if you get another all-star, another superstar to put in front of him, then you might have a good 1-2 combo. But at the same time, he's getting to the point where he's getting older. He's, if I'm not mistaken, 32 years old. And in basketball sense, that's starting to get older for some of these guys. You see some guys play up into the late 30s, early 40s. LeBron James is doing it now. Kobe Bryant played older years. Dirk Nowitzki did. Jordan played in his later years. But, you got to be a special type of talent to be able to do that. And I don't think Jimmy Butler is that type of talent or that type of guy that can, that you can. And he's due a lot of money. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people, like, you got to hold him accountable. He's getting paid like $141 million, if I'm not mistaken. I think he owed like 36 next season. And that's a lot of money that you're giving to somebody that's not your franchise guy. Because I just don't, he just don't do it for me. He hasn't done it for me, and it showed. And I said it privately to, people in conversation that, the bubble helped them out last year. The bubble helped them. And for him to, and like the sad thing about it is I called out his stats, but he was shooting like 20-something% from the field. That's how bad it was. Like it was pretty damn bad that, the way he was shooting the ball and, and don't get me wrong, everybody have bad games, but you are the man, so you got to find other ways to win. You can't do stuff like that whenever it's a key point. Like y'all had a chance to do something special. You could have knocked out the Bucks again, but the Bucks learned from the error of their ways and they took care of y'all. They swept y'all in 4. And like I said, it wasn't even close. And that's the bad thing about it. So, like I said, I'm not hating on Jimmy Butler. I like his grind, but he is just not the guy that you want running your franchise. And that's my personal opinion. He's not a top tier superstar in my estimated opinion. And so I'm going to leave Jimmy Butler alone. And we're going to move on to something that was said. Charles Barkley said Harden, greatest one-on-one player ever. And I thought that was very interesting that Charles Barkley would make a comment like that. Do I think James Harden is a great one-on-one player? Yes, he's one of the best one-on-one players that, in the NBA right now. But for him to say the greatest one-on-one player, and a lot of people might say I'm biased, but I'm kind of biased to Jordan. But then a lot of people know I wasn't the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, but I think that's disrespectful to Kobe for him to say that. Other guys that's still in the league right now, Kevin Durant. I think that's disrespectful to him. And I think Barkley is just, mesmerized with the flashiness of what James Harden brings whenever he's playing one-on-one. Because the way I look at it is he takes a lot of difficult shots. And don't get me wrong, I'm a James Harden fan. I've been a James Harden fan for some years now. But to say he is the greatest one-on-one player ever, I disagree. I watched Michael Jordan play, and I watched how easy, and here I said easy, he got shots, how easy he got to his spots, how easy it was for him to create space. And that's what makes great one-on-one players to me. It's the ease at what you do it at. And Jordan did it at ease. Whenever he faded away, yes. Like a lot of people say, oh, Jordan didn't dribble the ball a whole lot. He didn't have to. His first step was so quick and so big that when his first years, he was one dribble and he's at the basket. I mean, that's the epitome of a one-on-one player. If you can get to the basket in one dribble with less dribbles and all that good stuff, then that shows how easy it is for you to score, how easy it is for you to do certain things. Yes, that's what I'm on to. He did it with less dribbles, and then as he gotten older, a lot he lost the athleticism. And he turned that into knowledge up here, and he created space with his body, and that fadeaway. Like you didn't see people get close to that shot. Yeah, some people try to use, Jordan didn't shoot the 3 well, and this, that, and the third. He didn't shoot the 3 well. If he had to, he would. But the game was totally different then. And if you're telling me that this guy didn't shoot 3s well, but if I'm not mistaken, in one year he averaged about 35 or 36 points a game, and I think he may have made 8 threes. So you're telling me that's not one of the greatest one-on-one players to do it, and he averaged that much without taking a bunch of threes? I mean, in Kobe Bryant, we saw what he did. He was, one-on-one after Shaq left. It was, I'm gonna get here. I'm gonna get my shots. I'm gonna get this. Shit, that's how Kobe was. And I can get on a guy right now, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a walking 30. Like this guy can take 12 shots and have 35 points. How you gonna tell me he's not one of the best one-on-one players ever? Yes. Now I didn't talk about him still averaging over 20 while it was 40. Yes, after taking another leave of absence. On Janet Charles Barkley, we know it's crazy to speak out of thinking. He said, yes. I mean, we know how Charles Barkley is, and but everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And that's one thing I would say about it. But for him to say he's the greatest one-on-one player ever, I think that's disrespectful to Kevin Durant right now. You could say Steph Curry. He does a lot of one-on-one, but he does get some screens here and there. Hold on, what Brian say? The years MJ shot 3 plus 3 plus game, he shot 30. Hey, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, B. The proof is in the pudding. KD is a bucket. He should be in the conversation. But I'll say this right here. What about people like Dame Lillard, who plays a lot of one-on-one? I mean, it's nothing against James. Like I said, I like James. I love James' game. But the greatest one-on-one player ever, I disagree with that. Especially hearing that come from Barkley whenever he played against Michael Jordan and watched him average 45 on him in the play in the finals. So for Barkley to say that, I think it's just for TV. He likes to hear himself talk, and then he likes to get people rattled and all that good stuff. But that's neither here nor there. And we're gonna move right along. So we're gonna talk about the Nets take a 3-1 lead over the C's, over the Celtics. I felt like Game 3 was one of those eye openers for the Nets. I think that's what they I think that's one thing that they needed. They needed to take a L the way they did. I didn't think that the Celtics would win one, but I felt like the Nets, they needed that because I feel like them playing more games is going to make it better for them down the stretch because Kyrie, James, and KD haven't played a whole lot of games together. And, with this NBA, I think it's kind of easy for each one of them to get in and gel together. But I think the more games they play together, the better off they are. KD has just been phenomenal. He had 42 last night. And, the Celtics are, undermanned. I think, I'm going to say their best player, but one of their best players is out, and then, Jason Tatum is just, he's doing everything he can to keep the Celtics in the game and in this series. But I think Brooklyn's just a little bit too much whenever it comes to that. I think it's just a three-headed monster. And, you got Kyrie who played better last night. I think he finally got over the booze and, the emotional side of everything. And so at the end of the day, I think the Celtics will be done come Game 5. I don't think that they, stand a chance in Brooklyn. I think it'll be a rout, and then the Nets will move on to play the Bucks. I thought them losing Game 3 was very interesting. A lot of people, started being high on the Celtics and everything, and they started questioning the Nets. And KD had this much, James had this much, and they still lost to the Celtics. Sometimes it be games like that. The Celtics just played, unbelievable basketball in Game 3. And so, I don't think that, it be games like I think that, them losing, the Celtics played the way they played. And I just think that, them guys can just rally off a bunch of points in no time. And I really do believe it'll be over with in Game 5 in Brooklyn. And I'm gonna move right along, and I'm gonna go to my next topic. And is AD hurt again? this is something that's, me and some friends talk about, me, my nephew TC, friend Brian, Corey, and Rodney, and David. We all in a group chat, and we discuss a lot of sports and a lot of issues and stuff. And like we've all been kind of off the AD thing because a couple years ago they was talking about him being better than Tim Duncan. And I've always thought that he was a tad bit softer. I ain't gonna call him soft, but I felt like he was a little softer than a lot of guys, and he couldn't handle a lot of physicality. Oh, that's new to me, TC. I got to go and check that out. Joel heard again. That's not good. But AD having a growing problem. They saying that he's day to day, and anybody that's dealt with a growing, that growings are nothing easy to recover from. If y'all look at it, 2 years ago, LeBron had a growing, if I'm not mistaken, and he sat out the last part of the season to get healthy. Yeah, TC, I agree. AD is very fragile. He's very fragile. And the way he falls, he don't, it's just, it's just not a good look whenever I watch him play. It's almost like he stays on the floor. He has all types of issues and this, that, and the third. And I think the bubble helped him out last year simply because, without all the travel and, you're stationary in one place. I think that, Charles, you say ain't nothing, it ain't nothing, man, ain't nothing wrong with him. Why ain't nothing wrong with him, Charles? There's something wrong with the guy. Like, I mean, I think last year, I'm not a Lakers fan. I just think it helped them out because you didn't have to do all the traveling. You stayed in one spot. LeBron was older. Brian, we talk about it all the time. He falls on jumpers. He doesn't have much body control when he attacks the rim. I totally agree with you. We talk about it all the time. And at the end of the day, I just think that that's going to hurt the Lakers because LeBron is not healthy himself. And now, and that brings up the next topic. Do the Lakers have a chance? And I don't think they do. Simply because LeBron is not 100%. Anthony Davis is not 100%. And the team is built around LeBron and somewhat AD. And with those two not being 100% is going to hurt them. I don't think they stand a chance. I think the Suns, I felt like going into the series that the Suns had the better team. And, hey, well, TC, he gonna have to get mad because I'm about to talk about him right now. But the Lakers didn't have a better team than the Suns. Did they have bigger names? Yes. But I thought that, I feel like this right here. If Chris Paul never hurt his shoulder, this series could easily be 3-1. Suns. And like it's going to be a travesty if the Lakers lose in the first round because that'll be something LeBron never had happen to him. But with the injuries and the travel, and I think that's going to be the most important thing with travel and their injuries. Like, you just can't recover from a growing like in 2 days. Like I haven't played basketball in some years now, and I still have growing problems. Like it hurts sometimes. That's something you never recover from properly. And for him to have, and they said he's day to day, in which I just think they're trying to get, the Suns to have to game plan for without him because day to day means I'll make a decision tomorrow. I'll make a decision the next day. And me personally, I just don't think that Anthony Davis is equipped to take the toll that it's going to take to win. I don't think he has it. Like I said, the bubble helped a lot of players out last year. And do I think the Lakers have a chance? I don't think they do. Let's see what Charles had. Charles says, it is what it is. I honestly felt the Suns would beat us anyway. He said he doesn't trust them. I mean, I understand, Charles. I completely understand that you don't trust them or whatever. But, you know, I feel like that I feel like, you know, I don't trust our role players. Well, you don't trust the role players, and I don't understand why you don't trust the role players, because if at the beginning of the season, this is how I feel about that comment right here. They were saying the Lakers were one of the deepest teams in the NBA, but now it's on the role players. But if I'm not mistaken, they pay LeBron, they pay AD. So it's time for them to step up. If they want to win, they gotta make up the deficiencies for the role players. Ain't that what superstars do? If I'm not mistaken, that's what, you know, MJ did whenever, you know, the Bulls didn't have Pippen and everybody else was struggling. So let me put the team on my shoulders, and that's what time it is. But I just think injury is going to take a toll on him. Like LeBron, I tell people this all the time. Father Time is undefeated. He's undefeated. He's undefeated. Like, and we're starting to see LeBron decline. Like, yes, he has great games and this, that, and the third, but he is not the same. And if anybody say he is, and you can make up the this season 17 or season 18, whatever it is, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Like, you know, it's just that Father Time is undefeated. Everybody had to deal with Father Time. And as much as you want to say it and much as you want to do it, then sometimes it just don't happen. And I don't think that he has enough in his tank, especially if the Suns win the next game. If the Suns win game 5 and the series will be 3-2, I think that will mess up the psyche of the Lakers, in my personal opinion. Do I think they have a chance? It's a very slim chance, in my personal opinion. And that's tough to say with LeBron and Anthony Davis on the same team. But I just think it's just too much stacked up on too much. You know, it's just too much gonna hit ahead at the same time. And then Anthony Davis doesn't play. I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. And then if he comes out and he tries to play, we've seen what happened in that situation too. Like, you know, he come out, he tried to play, and, you know, second half, he doesn't come back out. Charles say, I feel that the difference is shooting primarily, because when I say trust, I'm just talking about shooting. The reason we won last year is the others hit shots. I think they're at certain players, they need to play more. And I can agree. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense. But, you know, you let some key guys go that, you know, messed up that type of stuff. Like, you know, so like I think it's a chemistry thing. I think that, you know, everybody doesn't fit the mold. And you had guys on that team that didn't care about certain things that you let go of. So I think that's one of the things. And then that's the biggest one right there, TC. Rondo was the key. I was getting ready to say it. Yep. And so, you know, do the Lakers stand a chance? I think it's a very slim chance. So we'll see what happens with the Lakers, you know, in a few games that's going on now. And so this right here about to be the final word of my show. And I say this, and this has nothing to do with sports. It's because this is May 31st, 2021, which it marks hold on, let me hide this stuff real quick. Which it marks 100 years since the Tulsa Race Massacre and Black Wall Street. If anybody, you know, follows me, I posted it last night that, you know, people should go and watch, you know, Tulsa Burning. It was on the History Channel, and Russell Westbrook executive produced it. It's not taught in our school system. It's taught in some curriculums here in Oklahoma, but I didn't know about it. I knew about it just by reading about it, and but it didn't go into detail. And this marks 100 years since this happened, where some angry white racist men went to Greenwood, where it was a prominent black community where they had hotels, banks, businesses, and they just had money fluctuating and all that good stuff. Where, and back in 1921, they had a $2 million town. And that's a lot of money for back then. We had some prominent black people in that area. So I would tell everybody to please go back and watch Tulsa Burning, the Tulsa Massacre, because it's something that we should know about history. Like, it's a lot of stuff that we were taught, coming up in school that was a damn lie. It's just bluntly and plain and simple as I could possibly say it was a damn lie. And, we're learning about stuff now that, they really didn't want us to know about. And I think that we should learn and we should show our kids, these type of things so it can make, the world a better place and people can see, the truth. And, and then I think that, being a black man, I see what black people do. And I think that if we saw stuff like this and saw it, for what it really is, that will bring us together a whole lot more. Because Black Wall Street, you hear people talk about Black Wall Street, but this right here breaks it down and shows you how prominent it was and what it could have been if, this wouldn't happen with this angry white mob that come to this place, and burn it down. And, they say that, on American soil, 9/11 was the worst. And that was the first time, that in Pearl Harbor, whenever, planes dropped bombs in the United States. And that's a lie, because it happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is about an hour 15 minutes from where I'm at. So I encourage everybody, white, black, purple, indifferent, it doesn't matter to me. I encourage you to go and look up and go back and watch. It's executive produced by Russell Westbrook, Tulsa Burning. And it's about the race massacre. And you will see what these people had to deal with and how they left from one side of the country, the deep South, and tried to move to the Midwest because they wanted what everybody else wanted, the American dream. And it turned out to be a damn nightmare. And, we still have a couple of people that's still alive from that talk about it now. And if you see it, and your heart will go out to them. And yes, Aunt Janet, you did tell me this. They did have one. I saw it on CNN, it's ESPN, the History Channel, but the internet was great. They didn't want your money until they saw us working together. Like that's what it was. And so, like, at the end of the day, I think that everybody should go and look at it. I had a friend from the gym. She said they teach it in their curriculum in Oklahoma, which that was great to hear Leslie say that. We work out at the gym together. And I made the post last night, and she was like, "No, we teach that. It's in our curriculum." Like, I didn't find out about it till I was 30. That's what she said. And then turn around and now they teach it or whatever. And I think that we should start letting our children know, and we should know our history, and we'll see where we had to come from and the struggles that we have. And I think that will bring us closer together. And I think that, the whites that see it and didn't know anything about it, then I think that will bring us closer to them too, because, it's still angry people in this world today that don't want others because of their skin color to have something. And so I encourage everybody to go watch Tulsa Burning, the race massacre, in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you watch it, just sit down, take a look at it, and you'll see some stuff that we didn't learn about in school, because they said it's Oklahoma history, But this right here is American history, it's U.S. history. And I think that it should be taught in our schools. Our kids should know about it. They can know about 9/11. If they can know about Hitler and the Holocaust, and this is something else they should know about. So I encourage everybody to go and check it out, take a look at it, and shout out to Russell Westbrook for, the great job he did executive producing that. So, hey, anybody who checked it out, I appreciate you checking this out. I'll be back next Monday, same time, same place. Appreciate all of you guys for like really checking it out. Those who, just take time out to do things. It really wouldn't be possible without you. I appreciate you checking me out. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good rest of your week and enjoy the rest of your Memorial.